Welcome back to Sports on Tap. I'm your host, James Laney, with my co-host, Kyle Johnson.
How we doing?
Just going to be us today. But once again, before we get started, just going to have to remind you folks that we are on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of them. You name it, we got it. Please share, like, follow, subscribe. Tell your friends about us. We'd love them to watch us.
Yeah, come on, dude.
But let's get right in. Oh, okay.
Do it. No, just now.
No. But get right into it. You know, football season's over, so I guess, we'll talk about basketball. Psych. We still have football news. We're going to be talking about it. Russell Wilson has been very, very upset lately about how the amount of times he's been sacked. He's been sacked like 100 more times than...
Is that what he said? Is that the reason for...
No, that's like a big reason, actually.
Oh.
Because he's just like, his whole camp is frustrated that he's been sacked. Since he's entered the league or something like that over the past 3 years, the second closest guy to being sacked as many times as him, there's 100 sack difference. Like, that's a lot. And Russell Wilson's a decently mobile guy. Like, he's no Lamar or Mahomes, but, like, he's not sitting in the pocket.
Well, their O-line's been kind of trash.
And that's his frustration. So some people are spectating trade rumors, this and that. Do you think he's going to be playing for Seattle week 1?
Maybe. So... the big thing that Russ hasn't done is he hasn't come out and like these trade talks have come out. Somebody started some rumor somewhere, and he basically has not put it to rest. And, Aaron Rodgers came out, said some stuff, and it was speculated like, oh, he might go, and he came out immediately like the next day and was basically like, well, pump the brakes on that. So he's the big thing with him not doing that. So he's clearly unhappy. I don't know what team, I don't know where he would go. Like, he's the last person I thought would be moving this offseason, but, we'll see. But he is actually eligible, I think, June 1st, with the way, the cap situation contracts work. If he gets traded after that, I think it's a $13 million cap hit versus a $29 million cap hit, I think. I think that's the difference. So he won't get, if he is going to get moved, he's not going to get moved for a little while. At least not until June 1st. If I'm Seattle, but the fact that he hasn't come out, he'll be on Ellen, I think today or tomorrow. And probably still hasn't or still won't address the rumors. I don't know. It's a weird situation with him.
I think he's going to end up staying in Seattle because I know a lot of these guys, usually they end up wanting to leave because it's like, I haven't won a ring yet. Okay, well, he's done that. And he seems like one of these guys that's actually pretty loyal overall. I like Russell Wilson. That's his thing. Even through the Legion of Boom falling apart, he stayed there. And then the team gave him some leeway where it's like, okay, we're going to let you do your thing. Where at the beginning of the season, he was running away with MVP.
Yeah.
And that was without an offensive line. So I really think...
I'll tell you, he's not appreciated enough.
No.
He's my sleeper pick in fantasy football every single year.
Well, he always puts up good stats.
He is the second quarterback I draft probably in the last 4 years. I get him every time. He's super easy to get, and he puts up MVP numbers almost every year.
That's the thing. Well, it's he's never... it's funny, because the first half of the season, he was literally running away with MVP, and then the second half, it's he kind of slowed down. But I think that's because the offensive line, that was huge. When you're getting sacked all the time, your body goes through wear and tear. So I think he's going to end up staying in Seattle just because I think they're going to end up getting him... Well, they're going to focus on offensive line. They're going to go out there. I know Orlando Brown from the...
Raiders?
Yeah, no, the Ravens. Sorry, Ravens. I just had the huge guy, absolute beast, and he wants to be traded because he wants to go somewhere where they're going to let him play left tackle, which I don't know why you don't have that behemoth at left tackle.
Where's he at now?
He's at guard or something. Well, it's guard. It's not center.
Fair enough.
But, so there's a guy, if they get a guy like that on that offensive line, it's just, Wilson needs a little more help on the offensive line. You don't need weapons. You have DK Metcalf, you have Tyler Lockett. And your run game's not even bad either. It's always, these past couple of years, been quietly.
It's so weird though. Chris Carson being a 7th round pick, and then they had Rashad Penny, who was their 1st round pick, who probably won't even.
But they always had
next year.
So it's the only weak point in their offense really is that offensive line. So if you can add a couple pieces like that, get a real huge piece.
Well, don't forget they have a shit defense too. Their defense played horrible this year.
And I'm just more focusing on the trade aspect of it because. If you're protecting your quarterback, when the quarterback is happier on his side, then it makes him happier if they're not getting beat up all game.
See, I wouldn't be surprised with Russ if he asked for a trade and we just don't know about it yet. Just because, like I said, he hasn't come out and He hasn't squandered any of these. Like, these rumors have been floating around for like a week and a half, and he hasn't come out and said anything about them.
Well, my thought behind it is I feel like Russ is the kind of guy, maybe he does want to trade,
Yeah.
but I also think he's not like some of these younger players that tiptoe around and things. It's like he probably went to Pete Carroll and the owner was like, hey,
I'm unhappy.
I'm unhappy. What can we do about it? And they probably were like, let me get back to you because they
Nothing.
respect Wilson. And Wilson also is a pretty mature guy and understanding where it's like, okay, I get things can't happen overnight, especially right after the Super Bowl. No one's doing any business really. It's
Nobody's going to start moving really until, like I said, probably June 1st. This summer, we're going to see a lot of people bouncing around.
June?
Yeah.
The draft is in April. The free agency is March. No, it's
some stuff in it'll move beforehand. I'm just saying, like, with the way a lot of contracts work, like, we're gonna see this is gonna go on for quite a while. With like,
I don't think this is gonna be an overnight.
Everywhere.
I don't think it's gonna be an overnight thing. I do think he's gonna stay in Seattle. But let's play this fun little game. Where's a place you would like to see him play? Not because let's not deal with cap and all that.
Can I say New England? I say it every single time.
See, I was gonna avoid that just because
I would cry if he ended up on New England. He is like I said, he is such an undervalued player. Him on New England would be beautiful. Same thing with Watson. But I mean, good luck with either of those.
Realistically, I don't think he will end up on New England. But like as a New England fan, I would love to see that. But a place, and we've talked about it before, and we've always said they're quarterback away. And it's like New England has a lot of other problems. Like they kind of need their first round picks. The Bears.
Yeah.
That's the thing where it's like the Bears can go without a couple first round picks to get Wilson, and it's just.
And then I guarantee you get Allen Robinson back.
Exactly. Allen Robinson was going to be because he even said he's like, oh, I want a Super Bowl. He tweeted that the other day. He's like, oh, I really want a ring. And it's like, well, if you bring Wilson onto this team, that defense is legit. Wilson, I mean, you're going to have to bring Robinson back because if not, then Wilson has virtually nothing to work with.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Their receiving core isn't awful.
But I mean, if you
Anthony
take Allen
Miller as your number one, it's kind of trash.
That's what I'm saying. So bring Allen Robinson back. I mean, there's a lot of. It's just so weird because the league now, there's not as many teams that need quarterbacks, or if they do, it's the Jaguars or I'm going to say the Jets. The Jets are up there in the draft. I could see him going
like Minnesota.
That would be interesting.
I don't hate that. You just trade contracts would work out. You just trade Kirk Cousins straight up. Probably give another 2 first-round picks, probably 3 first-round picks.
Nah, I don't think you. I think if you involve Kirk Cousins, you'll probably have to give up 2 first-round picks. It'll probably be similar to the Matthew Stafford trade.
Probably a little more.
I don't think so. I think with this size of the contracts, I don't know.
I'm
I would love to
speculating.
See that. I would love to see that because Minnesota. I've never been high on Kirk Cousins.
Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen with Russell Wilson,
a guy who can actually ball, where Kirk Cousins is just a middle of the pack guy and beats up on weak defenses.
Oh my god! Especially with his route running too. Both of their route runnings actually. Oh my god, that would be disgusting.
Yeah.
Where else could he? I mean,
if you don't have a quarterback, there's a place to go. I like that Minnesota take though.
I don't see it happening, but I know there's been a couple teams like the 49ers I think are in discussions with Minnesota for Kirk. I know that's a rumor floating around.
Well, they're looking to move on from Jimmy G.
Yeah,
it's like so.
That tells me his injury is a lot worse than it is.
I don't think Seattle would trade with the 49ers though because they're in the same division.
No.
So it's like they're not trying to deal with Wilson twice a year.
Can you imagine?
It's no.
Wilson on the Niners would be sick too.
And then you have to go up against that Seattle defense twice a year. Yeah, you're gonna get roasted. That's 2 losses.
Oh yeah, you're just handing him the win at that point.
Just absolutely. But yeah, no. Wilson actually has been a pretty underappreciated player.
He's so undervalued. It's unbelievable.